beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly post check. I am your host, Dr. Dale Laing-Hall. Amazing to have you with me today. I hope that you are feeling well in your body, mind, and spirit. You are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing with the right person. Thank you for being here. Today is Wednesday. Where is it? September 18th, 2024. So, our topic today, you guys know I always say I have a treat for you guys. It's always a treat. Every Wednesday at this time is a treat, okay? So, our topic today is about from burnout to balance. How these 9 emotional needs can fuel your growth, whether in the workplace, at home, at school, at church, or at play. All of it. Okay? So we're here for a short time, but a good time, as always. I'm going to bring up my amazing co chair that's been vibing and hanging with me all this month, Coach Hall, and we're going to get this conversation going. How are you feeling today?
You know me. You know my favorite thing to say, I'm present. I'm present.
Very important, always, always, and that's important,
Yes.
right? Because you want to be physically here, mentally here, spiritually, are all here. You don't
Yes.
want to be physically here and then your mind is where I need to go get some groceries. I need to go to the bank.
Exactly. How are you, Dr. Dolly?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. I feel excited and a little anxious. Every time I start my lives, I feel a little anxious because I just don't know what's going to come out of my mouth.
I'm the same way too. I went back on. I started my podcast this week, and I totally forgot my intro that I normally do. I said, "Oh Lord,
Did you?
I did," and I did it at the end.
Well, you got here there. All right. And that's the important part, right? You want to make
Right.
sure that,
Right.
that's I think that's the beautiful part of it. You're not showing up as this polished perfection that is
Yeah.
just it's not real, and it's
Right.
not it's not
Right.
authentic, and it's not that's not how human beings are. We are perfectly imperfect,
Yes.
and you got to welcome and be open to all of that, right? That's just
Yes.
not my vibe. That's not who I am, and
Right.
who I want to attract. I want people to feel I found out that I'm always like ready to fix things and see the glass half full kind of a person, and make
Yes.
other people feel comfortable in whatever space they're in. And I found out
Exactly.
I create safe spaces. Steph,
Yes. That's what we
yeah,
do.
create safe spaces for
Yes.
you to be your best self. You know?
Ah, yes. That's what we
So,
do.
our conversation today is about these 9 emotional needs. We're only going to talk about 4 because, again, we're here for a short time, not a long time, right? And it's a dialogue, right? It's a conversation, back and forth.
Yes.
So the question is now, what is emotional? What are these emotional needs you're talking about, Dr. Dale? What is going on? What are you talking about? Well, we all have them, whether you recognize it or not. We all, as human beings, you, me, we have emotional needs, right? And what is emotional needs is what fuels you. It's your feelings, your conditions that makes us feel happy, fulfilled, at peace. What is that feeling? We all these are needs, or conditions that make us feel completely whole, right? Without them, we feel frustrated, hurt, dissatisfied, and not happy, right? And some examples can go from, include feeling appreciated. How does it feel to feel appreciated? How does it feel when you're not feeling like you're feeling appreciated? So you know both of them. And that's what these emotional needs address. They address what is the setting that is that's perfect for you, because it's different for everyone, right? As human beings, we seek emotional nourishment more than you know, right? As much as we need food and water, it is our birthright to be emotionally nourished, right? So the first topic, how did we get here? Why are these where are these emotional needs come from? I'll tell you one thing. It starts with the conversation. You guys remember when you were in school and they talked about Maslow's hierarchy? That's where it came from. And the very first thing on that Maslow's hierarchy, what was the very first thing, Stephanie? It was um
You're gonna have
food.
to remind me. I'm old.
Food. Stop. It's food, water, shelter, your physical needs, right? And then it goes to your safety needs, and then your, belonging and love, and then, feeling respected and esteemed. And then, of course, the very top, self actualization, being able to desire and become the most that you can be, whatever that looks like. And it's different, again, for everyone, right? So, the very first one we're going to talk about today is security. Security. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Security is building a foundation of stability. Security is the cornerstone of well-being. What do I mean by security? It means feeling safe and confident, showing up as your best self, whether you're at home, feeling safe that you're in your home and you feel protected and safe, and you don't like have to be looking looking behind your back and seeing if somebody's gonna come at. None of that, right? You feel like what I'm doing at this job, it's contributing to the greater purpose, the vision of the department. Is that sense of security. When you have security, you take calculated risk. If you don't feel secure, you're not making any, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do that because I'm not sure about it. You don't know what you bring to the table. You need to be able to create. You can be innovative, right? And you know what your values are. You know what you bring to the table, right? Nobody can tell you anything because you know your stuff. When you have security, you can take calculated risk. Your focus, long-term goals. You can see, I'm good at this, and this is what I have to bring to the table. So now I know where I need to go, where I want to go, what I want to do. This foundation allows you to thrive, right? Rather than simply surviving, right? And what if you don't have what if you don't have that emotional need? What if you don't feel safe where you are at your job? What if you don't feel safe at home? You got to make a list. You know, uh, Start with making a list of closing that gap. You got to close the gap. You got to figure out what your environment looks like. Like, for example, at home, if you don't feel safe, maybe you should consider, putting some alarms on your doors, um, putting some cameras inside and out. I think my sister has a camera in her car. Like, whatever it is for you to feel secure, that's what you need to do, right? In order for you to be able to breathe, right? Again, feel fulfilled, feel happy, right? You want to feel safe. Maybe at the job that you're at, I don't know what the situation is. We don't know what the situation is, right? But depending on what it is, maybe, maybe you should leave. Maybe you should talk to, like, when I was working 9 to 5, I don't like people standing behind me. And even at home. And husband did it like recently. I was like, what you doing? I don't know. Oh, you know what? I think it stemmed from like childhood, and I used to be chased by dogs and stuff like that. I just don't like when I'm running. Instead of continuing to run from the dog, I would like stop. that what they say when you're in your when you're in when you're in a scared mode, you're that fight, flight, or freeze. It seems like your girl's free. Your girl freeze. So, Steph, do you have anything to add to that?
What you just said really hit the nail on the head. So, you guys know me as the healer. We always get to the root cause of the issue, right? So, you said something very important about, you know, why, you feel that less sense of security because of someone always over you. And you know what? I had a similar situation a few months ago. And I was just like, what is this? Where is it coming from? It was from a feeling of always being watched, more like a paranoia type sense, too, which means that you're in a state of fear, which means you have a lack of security. And so, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Dr. Dolly. You got to do the work so that you can address the issue, so that you can feel secure within your environment, within
Yeah,
yourself, with your
right.
family, friends, whoever, right?
What 100%, or perhaps you're constantly worried about being fired from that job. Why do you feel
Yes.
worried? Why are you constantly like fretting about that? What is it that you need to close that gap? Do you need to have a conversation with your boss? Do you need to talk to your peers, talk to yourself? Like, what is that? Where's that fear coming from, right? Because that's
Yeah.
nowhere to live, in other words, right? That is
Right.
not a way, because you're constantly, remember, we already talked about on this podcast, all this time is rented space. That rented space in your brain, stop giving it up, because that worry, that frustration, that anxiousness, it's coming from somewhere. So we on here, we don't hide things. We gotta dig it up. We gotta dig it up to see why is it coming up, because it's coming up for a reason, right? And we want to make sure that we address it. We should not and cannot ignore it. We don't have that luxury anymore, because who's gonna suffer? You in the future, your friends, your family, all of your relationships, your kids, your parent, like, they are the ones that are interacting with you. And because you fail to address these needs, they're going to suffer, right? And when you look back 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years from now, you are right where you started, and it's not where you wanted to be, right? So you got to address these things. The other one is volition. That's another emotional need that we have, right? When I say volition, another famous word for it is autonomy, the power of choice. It's all about having control over your actions, your decisions, your body, what makes you feel empowered, right? That could be at home, at work, or school. You don't want people making decisions for you. You're not waiting on someone to tell you, do, think, say, how high to jump. You can do that stuff for your own, and you can decide to do that. You become more engaged and motivated when you can have more autonomy, right? Autonomy leads to a sense of ownership, self actualization, right? Self worth, right? You are, your projects, what you're working on, you, as long as they give you what the guidelines are as it relates to the project, you can run with it. You know what I mean? You don't need to wait for somebody to tell you every step of the way what to do. You want to have some decision, right? Which is why, in the workplace, a lot of employees want to have some autonomy over what their work day to day looks like, right? And that's where conversation and feedback and surveys and all that stuff comes into play. Um, this drives you to invest more deeply, right, in yourself. Maybe you need to start setting some boundaries. We talk about boundaries on here all the time. It seems to come up all the time. Coach Hall.
It's coming up a lot. We say no. No.
It's very important, right? Like
Yeah.
it's okay to say
No.
no.
And if you don't hear no, we enforce rules.
Yeah, yes, 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 yes. So what happens if this need, autonomy, isn't being met, right? Maybe it's time for you to start having, some honest conversation with your boss, with your partner, with your family, right? About what is it that you need so that you can have control, some type of control or autonomy in this relationship. It's not easy. Been there, being there, right? Like Les Brown says, you're in three of these categories. You're either in something, in a problem right now, about to go into one, or you're just coming out of one. So it's this is a way of life. This is a part of life, and it's not going away. So these are things, these emotional needs are things that are weighing on your brain, on your soul, on your spirit, and you're not doing anything about them. And Dr. Dale, Coach Hall is here to say, do something. It's time to do something. Again, we're
Do
channeling
the
our
work.
MVP, our
Do the work.
MVP Kamala Harris, and Michelle Obama. It's time to do something. Our first lady, previous first ladies, do something about it, right? It's time for you to do something about it. It's time to be lovingly assertive about it, right? And you got to own that. Own it. Walk in it. It's time. Like, long and gone are the days of you just taking it and allowing people to walk all over you and having them to make decisions for you, because it doesn't help anyone. There's a song, I forgot who sang it, Brave, you know, who that one of the lyrics says, did you really think that silence would get you anywhere? It's not getting you anywhere, right? And things haven't changed, so you need to do something about them. And it's going to start with you. It has to start with you, right? So, Coach Hall, I'm going to let you take over for a little bit.
I'm just going to touch on that real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit number 3. Um, the greatest thing I've learned about this is when I was healing, and I come to understood that I have the power to control my own thoughts, feelings, and emotions.
Yeah.
Not nothing and no one else, right? Especially from coming from a space of control, family
Yeah.
environments. And
Yeah.
because I've allowed it in family environments, I allowed it in work environments, I allowed it in personal relationships. Well, like we said, not anymore, right? Because you have to do the work to establish some boundaries and some rules for your peace of mind. If you, I know some people are not going to like me saying this, but
Oh no.
if you do not have power to control your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and you're too busy controlling or trying to control someone else's thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you have no power and you have no control. And that means you got to do what, Dr. Dolly? Take a step back and go do the work.
Do the work.
That's all I
Do
got
the
to say
work.
about
I mean, we're getting themes every single time we talk on here. We need to start writing down some of these themes.
that.
Chat GPT, you need to pick that
I'm telling you.
up so we can do some themes up in here.
Yes. All right. So we're going to move on to number 3. Number 3 is attention. What does that mean? It means their currency of connection. Let's dive into this a little bit more. We all need to feel seen and heard. I totally agree with that. Totally. Attention in the workplace means recognition of your efforts and contributions. Okay. When you receive positive attention, it boosts your self esteem and reinforces your value within the team. This acknowledgement fosters a positive feedback loop, encouraging further engagement and professional development.
A
What do
hundred
we
percent.
Woo! That's good stuff. What do we do if this emotional need is not being met? We prioritize more quality time with your partner and friends. Okay? Set aside time for it in your calendar. Okay? Just because we have friends or partners doesn't mean we are meeting their needs for attention or that they are meeting ours. Ooh, that's a whole
So
word.
yeah, I'm gonna 100%. Like they talk about the five love languages,
Yeah.
right? And my one of my well, I think my high one is a quality time, and I think words of affirmations, right? I
Mm.
like to be affirmed, apparently.
I realized that about myself yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So and then sometimes people say, and I've been in spaces where people are like, I don't have time for work friends, like going out, and I don't have time for that right now. I got to focus. Da 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 da. Right?
Hmm.
Having friends, and I have sent you that Instagram the other, I mean yesterday, where it says that you have to have playtime, downtime,
Yes,
because in that downtime you are being creative, you are
yes,
flowing, you are flexible, you are
yes,
not your brain power, you're allowing your brain to be open, right, for all the above, for all things, right? So I say that to you. There's research about it as well, that you got to be able to have quality time for family. You know, there's work time, and then there's also friends, you know, it's time that you spend with your friends and investing in that time, right? Because you don't want to be like 60, 70, 80 years old, you know, in a nursing home, and you ain't got nobody listening or coming and check you out. I, and I worked in nursing homes, right, where they didn't have anybody. All of their family had died. They had no friends. They were the only one left. So what happened? The nursing home staff became their family, right? Beautiful thing. But what if you had someone, you know, years late, right now, may not be something as important, but later on you want to look back and say, I've known her for 15 years, 14 years. Well, that's a really good feeling.
very good. And I think something I told you the other day, which I came up with a great topic about something for us to speak about in the future, but
Yeah.
the reason why it's so much currency behind it is because of the energy behind it, right? Having
Mm.
those friendships that are totally aligned, right? And I'm going to say this. If you're not aligned with your family, remove them, build your own family that you could be aligned with. Yes, I'm being a bad cop today. I sure
Don't
am.
do that. No, you're good. You just said it. You're like, remove that.
Yeah, because I came up with that topic. Good energy is contagious
It
because we
is.
always, especially from us that have came from toxic environments, right? We're coming away from that. We're pulling out of that, and we're just like, oh, this stuff is toxic. It's just contagious. It's like a whole disease, right? Well, no. Once you come out of that and really get in some real good energy, where you feel that high level vibrational energy, that currency that's behind it, right? It's the good energy. It's contagious. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Okay. Let's move on. Ready to move on, Dr. Dolly?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's move on from that before we stay here past our time.
Girl, you know how we do. All right. Number 4. Last.
I think Steph kind of clicked on the wrong button. So I'm gonna talk about number 4. Emotional connection, nurturing workplace relationships. Humans are inherently social beings. It's in our nature. It's part of us. We're supposed to have social connections, right? Emotional connections at home. We want to be able to connect. We want to be able to share who we are, what we do. That's vital for creating a supportive work environment, supportive home environment, right? Wherever it is that you are. When you build these strong, authentic relationships, oh my goodness, it introduces less stress in your world. You have authentic relationships, people that you can actually be your true self around, right? Authentic relationships with your colleagues, with your family, with your friends, right? These emotional needs provide you a great sense of belonging, helping you to navigate and to challenge for with challenges and resilience and optimism, and you just feel fulfilled, right? um uh, being in these relationships creates that environment. But if you don't have these relationships, how, or you don't have this emotional need being met, you know, what do? You have to make it a priority. Spend time with your friends. Spend time with the ones that you want to create. You know, maybe you don't have any friends. Maybe it's time for you to maybe start networking a little bit, right? And seeing if you can create that atmosphere. They said that to be a friend, to, you know, find really great friends, you have to be a good friend first yourself, right? Are you a good friend? Can someone say that you're a good friend, right? If you're feeling lonely in your relationships, see if there's a way for you to create that emotional, you know, intimacy, and so you can take down the scales and stop being fake and actually be true to yourself. If you don't have any friends, maybe it's time for you to be a friend to yourself, so that you can be a friend to someone else, right? Maybe that's the case. I think Coach Hall is back, so I'm gonna bring her up. Hey, my love.
Girl, the technical difficulties. We're not
it's
doing this
it, it
today.
happens. It's all good. It's all good.
Look,
I
look,
covered
look.
the number 4, and we talked about pretty much maybe it's time for them to just, you know, they said that in order to be to find good friends, you have to be a friend. And I would say a step further and say be a friend to yourself first. And the only
Oh,
way that was a good one, right?
that was a word. That's a word. It touched me right here in the heart space. Ooh.
So, and even a step further and say, in order for you to be a friend to yourself, you have to take that mask off, right? Take it off.
Ooh.
Stop pretending. Stop, you know, stop with the lies. Stop doing things that are not allowing you to be and show up as your own self. You know,
Mm.
stop copying other people, comparing yourself. Like, all of this stuff adds to your emotional stress,
Yeah.
right? And we ain't got the time for it. We ain't doing that no more. We ain't doing it no more. That's not
Mm-hmm.
proper English, but we gonna say it like that because that's how much we mean it. No more. Okay.
Exactly.
We're gonna say it in Spanish. Ya no más. Okay. No pa aquí.
No
No
mas.
más. No
No
más.
mas.
No más.
I know what that means. No mas. Nunca. No
So
mas.
that's the conversation today. We talked about our emotional needs, 4 of them. We're gonna address the rest of them not next week, because next week, Steph, where are we again next week? Next week we
We
are,
are going to the HRABC conference.
yeah,
Yay.
HRABC annual conference is gonna be somewhere up there in Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, somewhere. You guys need to go look at hrebc.org and check out and get your tickets, because that is where it's happening next week, Wednesday. And it's pretty much all day, right? I think it's from
Yeah.
9 until like 3, 4 o'clock. And we're gonna be over there networking, engaging, connecting, making connections. We just talked about connections.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be over there. We welcome you guys. Feel free, if you're here in the South Florida area, come over there. And so we'll address the other 4 the following week, which I think is October 2nd. Look, this month is over, you guys. It is done. So I hope
Already.
that you are shaking and baking. You're doing your thing. You are working for you. You are showing up as your best self. You are engaging your family. You are doing better, because that's what the Pulse Check podcast conversation is all about. It's about checking in with you, checking in with
Yes.
how you're feeling, how you are emotionally showing up, and making sure emotionally showing up, meaning emotionally showing up in an intelligent way. I don't want you out here, if you listen to my podcast, out here in these streets cursing and just giving people piece of your mind. We're not doing that, okay? That's the point of you showing up and coming to this and listening in, so that way you can be the best version of yourself. And that means less stress, more peace. We're all about harmony. We're all about leveling up, for our family, our kids, our friends, and every single person that is looking at us when we think that they're not even looking. People are watching, right? And you want to be an impact, a positive impact, right? To them and to the ones that are coming after you, right? In my family, that's something that's near and dear to me. I want to be seen as an inspiration to them, right? And it doesn't only start with your accolades and your titles. No, how are you treating them? How are you treating the people in your lives? How are you treating yourself? Very important. And that's what emotional intelligence is all about. It says take the scales off and let's be the best version of yourself and accept yourself, right? Good, bad, indifferent, right? It's all you. So embrace it. Embrace it. Coach
Everything.
Hall, you have any thoughts before we get out of here?
Not really. This was good. I just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be on TikTok this Friday, right? Do you want to
Oh,
tell them about it?
yeah, we are. No,
Yeah.
I did not. What is our title again? What are we popping in there and talking about?
Um, you know, nothing can make you happy until nothing can make you happy.
Ooh. We're not going to say anything else because we don't want to give it away. You're
Yeah,
going to
because
have to
it's
go follow
juicy.
us. You got to go follow us on TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that goes. It's gonna be fun. I'm so eager and excited to see how that's gonna turn out. So it's gonna be a mess and it's gonna be fun and we're gonna welcome it all.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
It's gonna be good. So
Yeah.
thanks for that reminder.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see you guys in a week, right? In 2 weeks or
In two
whenever
weeks.
October 2nd is. You
Yeah.
guys go register for the next time we connect. All right, I think it's already out there, so go register for it. So we'll see you guys here. Talk to you guys later. Wednesday, as usual, 12:15 p.m., 30 minutes or so, and for great conversation and making sure that you're showing up as your best self. So, bye. We're done.